the fact that we are where we are, that we have been married 27 years, haven't killed each other, as you said.
You ain't gonna kill me.
Haven't killed
Ever.
each.
I'm unkillable.
See,
What?
that's a title for the show, Unkillable. Well, my friends, this is an absolute pleasure, the biggest pleasure, because this is our 300th episode. 300 episodes. I'm kind of just weirding out, or kind of just, my mind is exploding just saying that number. And my wife is here with me, and what I noticed is that she seems to come back like every year, once a year. She was back in 2021, I think we had an anniversary episode. And then I saw we did one with the Hardens in 22. You skipped 23, and now you're here in 24. But everybody, if you're listening or watching, this is my wife, Lia Paul. Lia, would you please greet everyone?
Hello, everyone.
A woman of few words, only now when she's on the mic. But babe, I'm so glad that we're doing this. I mean, I couldn't think of anything to do for our 300th episode. As you know, I was basically like circling around the house asking you guys, what should I do? And finally I was like, I know what we need to do. We need to get you back on the podcast and just talk about the things we've learned over the last 300 episodes. So it's been 7 years since I started the podcast, 8 years since I wrote. Yeah, right. Now we're feeling old. And that's the other problem with doing anniversary episodes. Yeah. But yeah, I did write down some notes so that we wouldn't be just fumbling, trying to remember stuff. But can you please just tell everyone who hasn't heard you a little bit about you? I do this to all the guests, the 37-second elevator pitch. I'm not going to make you do all that, but just tell them some of the things you do. Just a couple of things. And I promise you, I'm not going to push you to do all of the things I know you're amazing at, but just, you have to at least introduce yourself to someone that has meeting you for the first time.
Well, hi, my name is Lia Paul. I am the wife of Alan Paul, 27 years.
Oh my gosh.
Strong, working on almost a 28.
Yeah, as of now, yes, for a few months away.
I am a mother of 3 amazing, fully grown, fully functional, fully successful children. I work for a nonprofit that helps children in foster care.
Very proud of that.
My gosh, I sound like a saint.
You are a saint. Look at this.
Not a saint.
Exactly. But okay. No, but I'm glad you heard yourself. Like, these are the things that people see in you and that you do outside
reading and cooking.
Oh, yes,
and
she
long
loves to
walks on the beach at sunset.
Okay, why did you say that last part? Because you are not into the walking part. The
sand
sunset,
is the devil.
The sunset, yes, not the beach and the walking.
Yeah, no, it just felt like a dating profile, but this
yes.
is me. You already got me, so
yes,
we're good.
We're good. We're actually we said we're going to go out after this to the beach.
Podcast widow.
All right, and that was the other title we were thinking of. That might be the title of this, being a podcast widow. I have spent so many days, nights in this office where you're right across in the bedroom, and I'm like, I'll be there in an hour, and 4 hours later, I emerge, like from a cocoon, trying to burst out, and you're like, so I thought about talking about that just because of our marriage and because we're not the only creative couple. We're not the only married couple that has one person that does one thing and one person does another thing. Like you said, you do sing. You have kind of brand. Okay, well, you do sing. You are trying out some new creative things in terms of like hosting and stuff. And
things. Oh yeah,
so,
I forgot about that.
Right. So that's where I thought this could go, where we've kind of had to navigate, like, how do we let each other grow and be who we are? Like you said, you being a podcast widow or musician widow, all the other widows, but thank God not an actual widow, because like we survived all the stuff that we've gone through.
I have not killed you yet.
Yes, I thank you. And then the other part, which is the actual, like, where we're going from here, because
that's a good question. You got answers?
I'm hoping you're gonna help me. Like, this is a family intervention. Like, yes, I need help right now. So I did write down some notes so we wouldn't just ramble. But the first thing I think we do need to acknowledge is what you just heard me say, which is the 7 years, 8 years we started it. I
love how you say we.
See here. Okay, wow. Here we're already starting. Why do I say we? I say
I know
we
why you
because
say
we
we.
are united in
Yes.
all that we do, and there's no way I start any of this stuff if you say, Alan, dumb idea, you shouldn't do that. Like, I'm not doing it if you're like totally against it.
Well, I greenlit it. That's all I can say.
Okay, so that's why I'm saying we.
Okay.
I did like a lot of the stuff because I was the one being the nerdy doing all the stuff, but it's always been a group effort because without your support, none of this happens. And I mean, from going to Trent's conference with me to helping with like the book with all the with Poetis and doing all the editing and like trying to help me coordinate all that. And then you wrote the Just Right with the 500 words. Like, you have been a catalyst to everything that God and Gigs has been, even though you don't like to show your face. Like, that's part of what I think we should probably let people know is you don't have to be like the face of the thing if you're a married couple to be like a part of it. Like, I feel that way.
I'm a background person.
But that's your
I understand. I'm glad you explained it to the folks. I wrote nary a word of the book.
Right.
I have not produced nary.
Nary. Oh, Lord, Nary.
Nary a podcast.
Look up Nary right now. As I say.
But I let your brain do what your brain does, and we get great things. So
do we? Yeah, every once in a while. Sometimes we get crazy things and mess
crazy
up.
is fun.
Yes, yeah, sometimes. So I guess the first thing, like I said, was thinking about the 7-8 years. Is there anything at the top of, where you saw me diving into this stuff, where we were going to the conferences on our anniversaries and stuff like that? Is there anything that you would change about the way we like started this? Is there anything that you're like, Alan, I wish you hadn't blank, or not just me, but we or you, something that you would say like, yeah, we probably could have done this better? Because I want to make sure we don't make any mistakes twice.
So I'm going to say no, because you had to learn as you went. You didn't know how to do something. Right. You went to Google University or YouTube University and you learned. And the things you're doing now are amazing to me. In the beginning, it was hard just getting you to write some words. Yeah. Then you went into, I'm going to self-publish. And then, I'm going to build a community. And then, how about a podcast? How about I work on other people's podcasts? And it's just like, I just watched the bricks build, tell you to slow down when you need a little rest. But, I'm not stopping it.
No, but you were fueling it. Part of what I feel like, and I think I'm already going ahead of it, of my next question to myself and to you and us. But part of why I'm kind of having like a little crisis of what's next is because I do look back at everything we did, and it's like it happened both fast and slow. Like, I didn't realize that podcasting would become my life.
Yeah, nobody.
Like back then,
saw that.
I was musician, right? Everything was music, piano, like everything, like from the church to. Then we started with the gigging, and then from our the fish house to like the corporate gigs, and then all that stuff was all of my identity, our identity, even in terms of church. People saw you as like it was like from musician's wife, pastor's wife, whatever, all the wives, right? And then people didn't even see you and I as like people that just saw what we did.
It's the pianist and his singing wife.
So that's why I'm saying going forward now, I'm looking back, what I wonder is, first of all, should we have been more willing to kind of speak up and say, we're not going to be defined by our talent. We're not going to be defined just by what people think we do, because everything that I'm trying to build now is all about being authentic.
I understand that.
And we had to grow into that. So
where we started, we could have said that from the rooftops, but the culture there was like they put you in a box and you did not leave that box. You were Alan Paul the musician, and I was Alan Paul's the musician's wife. And short of God coming and sitting next to them on a log and saying, yo, this guy's got a book in him, give him some space, like that wasn't going to happen.
Well, that's why
I felt like people already had what they wanted us to do.
But that's why he had to push me out of that my comfort zone. Us, and again, it's us, and not just me. It's us, because you had to be, I still wonder how in the world you weren't left behind in every sense. But anyway, we have so many stories we could tell, and that's the hard part about this. Like when you're trying to like not say everything, even in terms of what we're going through right now. Like we're trying to be very respectful of our own, of other people, and not
right. No, I'm not. There's no disrespect. It's...
Yeah, but it's true. Like we were in a box that we allowed ourselves, in a sense, to be put in.
We did,
which is why
I think we needed the box for a time.
Yeah. So
it helped.
What I'm wondering now is if we are looking ahead now, is it possible that this could be a box? Is it possible that like now, even with what we're trying to do now with...
What are we trying to do?
Okay. See? Okay.
We're trying to do lots of things though.
But that's what I'm saying. We need to, it's a family meeting right now, literally family meeting. So just in front of everybody. So, okay. But I want to stay with my notes. So we just talked a little bit about, you know, the beginning and what we would have done differently. I feel like I should have been more clear. What God and Gigs has helped me remind myself every single time is that family is first, that faith is first, that all these other things will work themselves out. You know, thank God for Metro Life and for, you know, our ministry that's helped us like figure that out. But I do wish I had that kind of central focus, even though like all those things had to be done. Like you said, we had to learn by doing. But if anything, I would tell anyone that's like starting something now, just do not spend more time thinking about like how to do it versus the why you're doing it. Like, why are you doing the thing? And what I always wanted for us was something that we owned, something that gave us freedom to not feel like we're again boxed in, right? And also helped us express ourselves. Like that's what I wanted. That's why the parent company is Paul Creative Services. And you fought me for a long time with the last name. Like I wanted it to be something with our last name for the parent company, right?
Yes.
And that's why, because I wanted us to have something. If our kids want it, they can have it. If they don't want it, it's cool. But there would be something that we built that's not just, you know, fleeting, play the music for somebody else and then collect a check and, you know,
go to the next gig.
Right. That's yeah. So, okay. So we survived the first strike. Right. So what have you learned about taking opportunities? Because this is, again, we've said no to some opportunities and we've said yes to some opportunities, and 300 episodes in, we are, and then there's a lot of opportunities coming our way that we didn't see coming. So is there anything that strikes you when I say what we learned in the last 7-8 years about the opportunities we've had, or the ones we've said no to?
So the ones that we said no to, can't speak on because we said no
to
them. But there was something that told us to say no. So that was what it was supposed to be. The ones that we said yes, some of the ones that we said yes to were like crazy. But it worked out. Like we learned something. So you just have to follow, I guess. So for me, it's follow your leader, which is your husband, as he follows Christ. So when my husband comes to me and says, the Lord said we're not supposed to be at this church past such and such a date. Who am I to say,
I still can't
no, you know, that's not me. Like you have to trust. So I would honestly say that you are probably the only person that I would trust like that. So
I'm grateful that nobody else would come to you and say anything like that. Besides, okay, I will say pastors. Our pastors we would trust, and many people now in our lives.
I would look to you first.
To see how you're feeling. Right, we would co-sign.
I have my spidey senses, and I will chime in with my spidey senses, and you do listen to them, which I appreciate.
I learned.
But if I don't get the no or the weird, this doesn't feel quite right feeling, I'm going to follow you. So, and then when I do get those feelings, we talk about it, and either you can assuage those feelings or it's going to be no still.
Right. Well, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at too.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, and one of the things I've really been pushing you on is been like, hey, say yes to these things when people.
I've been saying yes to lots of stuff.
And that, yes,
Mr.
to her credit, she is way more willing, but I think you're because of your friends who we love, friends, including the Hardens that have been on the show. Exactly. Yes. Are speaking into and encouraging, which goes right to the next one, encouraging each other. So that's where I feel it has given us more, we feel more support in taking the opportunities where, you know, I'll give you an example. Like the example was the other, I'm running all these different podcasts now, but one of them that I didn't think I could handle was the daily devotional. The woman's. Right. So I was like, there's no, what are you talking about? Like, there's no shot of me. I'm already doing this. There's no way I can handle this other thing. Yep. And so everybody was like, no, you can do this. You can believe it. And then we went to you didn't go to, yes, that was at Podfest that we met Misty. Yes. And Misty was like, you can do this. And It's like just having people in your circle that when you have an opportunity, do see the best, like do see that you're capable. Because we, we see ourselves as like, the Bible thing, grasshoppers, right? Like we. Yes. So
listen, if you want vision, talk to Janae Harden.
Oh gosh,
she sees all things. Lord, she sees you in all things.
She will call you and be like, "Y'all gonna do this and this and then and blah, blah, blah. Okay." And
many a call. Many a call has been
no question. And like it's like okay, like she asks you a question in a way that you already know, but she says it in a way
that you've already said.
You've already said yes.
Well, my calls always start with Leah. Just say yes.
Yes, it starts with that.
And then I have to say yes. Then she'll tell me what I've said yes to. And honestly, she has not led me astray. So.
Yes. And that's why, we need people like that. Again, it goes to the community. All the things that and here's the thing that I really, again, I'm being very transparent here. The struggle is it feels like sometimes that things are going wrong on the outside because, this didn't come through or this didn't get paid or this money didn't come through or this gig didn't happen or whatever. But yet we're sitting here talking about the people that the community we've cultivated, which again, I'm trying, it's so weird to talk about this like this. We did not know how close they were until we needed them. And so true. Now it's like, this is a reward to see that we said, yeah. So I'm battling with myself to remind myself that this is exactly why it matters. That it's not about how many downloads, how many people bought this or how many, because that's where my brain has been going. Like I struggle with seeing the value even in a 300 episode when I'm just worried about how many people are going to listen when it's literally a thank you letter. Like this is more like a thank you letter to everybody that has supported us through the years. Listen. And that's where we should be thinking, not like, oh, well, why isn't it a bigger or whatever? And that's just me. This is my confessional to my wife.
And I think I've told you before, the people who listen are the ones who need to hear it.
True.
So
you're listening now. You were meant for this, and I didn't get a chance to write this down. Then we can't grab the computer right now. But there's so many people that have written reviews that and I've been kind of nervous about doing shout outs before because it's like, oh, I don't want to just name people and then someone doesn't get a name, but like we need to like say
these people who know you,
right?
No, you don't remember everything.
That's true.
Uh-oh.
That's true. I relax. Okay, I think
is that okay?
We'll find out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so, it's just
So
yeah,
but I think we're good. We'll find out and we'll edit this out or we won't.
Right. We could pause for the cause and you could check it before we do a whole interview.
Oh my gosh!
It looks like it just shut off. Come sit back down by me. Listen.
All right. So.
Part
as
2.
We were. No, but okay. I believe I was saying, and I'll cut it here. The fact that we are where we are, that we have been married 27 years, haven't killed each other, as you said.
You ain't gonna kill me.
Haven't killed each.
I'm unkillable.
See.
What?
That's a title for the show, Un-Killable. I'm taking so many hints from Curry and the Keeper right now because what they do is they like just keep talking and then whenever there's a word that becomes the title of the show. So when we do our podcast, which you have said, you've talked about us doing our own podcast.
Can we drink wine?
This is yes. Why wouldn't we be able to drink?
Next time.
Yes, next time. Yes, that would probably help a lot.
Can we drink it from flasks?
All right, now you're pushing it. Okay, wait.
Never mind.
All right, next item, if there's an item.
It's purple, by the way.
Oh, since we're talking about our community,
yes,
handling adversity, handling things that when things go wrong, and like, me on a Zoom call, or
Baby.
or like just going ahead, or like a better example would be, I think I would say even when this particular show, like I had to make a big detour, right? Things changed, and
Yes.
we went from a co-host to not having a co-host, and so
having only one podcast and taking care of 5.
yeah, but that's not adversity.
So,
I'm talking about
that's a little bit of adversity.
Yeah, but that's a good adversity. I'm talking about when like
You're
we've gone through
stuff.
Yeah, like cuz
That's growth.
So what would be what I'm honestly asking.
Evolution,
I don't think I've
growth. If
I don't think
something
I've ever
stays the
asked.
same forever, it's stagnant and it will die.
True.
So if you're not making changes, somebody's going to force change.
True.
So
have you seen your own growth through adversity, through stuff like things that you did not think you could like overcome? And I'm not just talking about the last month. I'm talking about like
last month has been a lot.
Yeah. So last years, like, have you seen your own growth in handling adversity? Whether, and again, this is not just podcast or music or anything, like just.
So I don't feel like I've come up against anything which I thought was like an insurmountable odd, but I have always had the philosophy of life that you're on a path, and sometimes things come in the path, and you have to figure ways around, over, around, through, or under. So adversity is not necessarily something I look for or want, but when it comes, I don't let it freak me out. I say it at work all the time because, well, this isn't working or something or another. And I always say, well, there's more than one way to skin a cat. My grandpa used to say that. So you might have always done it one way, but if you step back and look at the situation, you can usually see alternate routes that can get you around it or past it to that you wouldn't have seen if you were just, we've always done it that way. You always need to be open to new ideas, fresh wind type thing. No new wine in old wineskins.
Yeah, look at that. Come on, preacher.
No, I just have little pieces.
Little pieces of preaching. Preaching pieces.
Don't ask me where it's from, but I know it's in there.
Yes, it's in there. You are correct. So I do want to like make sure I have to respond to this as well. So I think the one thing I've learned about handling adversity through these 300 episodes and everything that we've done has been that kind of like what you said, but like even to more so, like this is what makes us who we are. Like I didn't realize how much we've overcome until someone actually brought up some of the things. And so I call it holy amnesia, because we've kind of forgotten,
right,
in a sense, like the stuff that we've actually like overcome. And it's just crazy that what wanted to break us is now like a distant memory. Right. Like it's crazy.
It's almost forgotten.
Right. So that part it's kind of but it's seeped into us as in. Yep. So I feel like, again, I always want to make sure I'm talking to the people who are listening and watching, that you don't know like how the thing that you're going through is actually building into you to make it possible for you to sit 2 years later, 300 episodes later, 2 albums later, whatever it is that you're going through is actually going to be built into your DNA eventually. Like that's what I feel like. I feel like we have. And here's the other thing, babe. Like I really. It's kind of weird to talk about, but we used to say this a lot when we were younger, that nobody in our circle was like our age and have kids like our age, right? But here's the other one that I hated to say, but it's true. Most of our friends have not been married as long as we have.
No,
and in this industry,
right?
Even church, like
we were 20 and married.
Right.
With children.
Right.
And our friends were still doing what normal 20-year-olds do. Now we're an empty nest and we can do what we want, and they need babysitters.
Not yet. Not yet. They don't need babysitters yet, but no, I'm saying like that's where I feel it's so strange to say, and I want to be honest that I don't, we talked about doing another podcast or whatever, but I really wonder if there's anybody, if anybody needs to know, like, how did we, 27, 28, going on 30 years now, and overcoming all the stuff we overcame, and just saying, yes, you can do this, even when we are very, very much in a creative community circle. Like, that's been our life.
That is valid.
And yet, a lot of marriages don't survive that. And so I think it's just something we should, again, it's not patting ourselves on the back because we did a lot of things wrong. I'm just saying we should also be grateful and like open about, like, we're kind of rare.
I mean, I don't think we're closed. I just don't think we, at this point in our life, are like broadcasting it.
No. Okay. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe in that.
I don't think we're hiding anything.
But our living room has always been a place where our creative friends can come in. Like, there have been so many conversations about like more about relationships than anything. Music. Always about relationships. Always. So again, like, that's where I fought myself, because I feel like that's not marketable. Like, people aren't going to want to just buy a product or go to a course about being a married musician or married creative. But now it's like, well, I don't care if anybody buys it. Like, this is probably something that needs to be talked about. So
sounds like a second book.
I don't want to write another book right now. Okay. Well, yeah, but see, okay, perfect example. Let's go into this last part, because I really do want you to talk about the quiz you took and how you are, what your answer was. And
I feel like when I took it, it wasn't the quiz yet. I had to help you troubleshoot the quiz. You were helping me
troubleshoot the quiz. I haven't taken
it again since.
Well, you can take it again, but shameless plug for the quiz. If you go to godandgigs.com/quiz, we created a quiz that shows you what kind of creative personality you are. And the reason why I'm bringing this up with you is because, as we mentioned, I want to ask, like, what, I honestly don't know the answer. Because when you said, I want to do these certain things. So we have a show, we have a summer music series that we do. Yes. And my wife volunteered to be the host. And this is something you've never asked, or, we didn't ask you to do.
Never desired either.
And so when you took the quiz that we offered, that we created, you'll help me create, you got what type of creative personality?
Closet creative.
Cool. So why would a closet creative then say, yes, I want to host a show or sing more or do 2 gigs in the same week?
That was insanity. So those weren't just regular gigs either. Those were like full on productions.
Yes, they were.
Don't do that.
Right. No, but I really, honestly, babe, I really don't know.
But the opportunity presented itself.
Yes.
I didn't think it would happen again. So,
yeah.
Sorry. I need to get in the mic. So what was the question?
The question is, honestly, what was your motivation?
To do what?
To say yes. Like, what pushed you?
What?
Say yes to the gig, say yes to doing more outside of your creative stuff. What was, because I honestly don't know, like, what was the thing that started to make you say yes to those kind of things?
So I can lay a lot of this at Jania's feet. Her name is all over this. But before the Remember the Times gig even came along, the first time, Jania and I, it's my girl, she's my sister, we were talking, and we were just, she knows like my background, my musical background, whatever, and I was just not gigging at the time. I hadn't been gigging for a long time. So what happened? I don't quite remember. I know I'm missing something, but she decided that I needed to start singing again. That's literally what she told me. And she said, we're going to make this happen. And I said, sure. That's what I always say when it's like, I'm not going to be able to fight you on this. Hopefully you'll forget. So I said, sure. And a couple months later, I got the call. Lia, say yes. What am I saying yes to, Jania? Just say yes first. So I said yes. And she told me about the Remember the Times gig, which was a wonderful production. Great. My husband was on it as well. And that was definitely an experience. Multiple shows. So.
Yes. Well, yeah, we'll put a link. I know it's not.
We'll put a link.
It's not currently playing, but we are trying to like redo it again. It's an amazing show.
It is an amazing show. And that was last year. And I thought that was like a one-off. And then the call came again this year. And she said, I need you to say yes twice. And I said, okay. I'm used to her Like she'll give me little things to say yes to and you get comfortable. And then she throws like a big one at you. Well, she threw two. They're bringing back Remember the Times. We're expanding it and we're adding things. Say yes. We're trying to bring back everybody from the first show. Fine. That was a comfort for me. I already knew it. Still had my music and everything. Then she was like, now I need you to say yes to singing back up for a jazz and Motown gig, big production, singers, background singers, full or band. And by that time, I don't know. I'm just used to her telling me to say yes, and I just say yes automatically. I don't even think I do that for you.
Thanks. Yeah, exactly. Janiyah has the secret weapon. I am just a husband hanging around, but I never get the yes, never. But not never, but I mean, okay. So what I'm obviously this goes back to the encouragement,
right?
I still feel like you're not giving yourself enough credit. Even now, you're kind of deflecting. You're saying Janiyah, but you being willing to say yes means you said, I'm willing to be uncomfortable.
Yes. Because
this person believes in me. I'll learn the music, because that's all you. Like, Janiyah's not learning the music. You're sitting there. You're learning the music. You're in there at the rehearsals with me. Working well, not even with me. I'm with the band. You're working on your parts with, in the sectionals.
Yep.
So this is all you going back to something that you did in college that you've always been gifted at, but you just, in a sense, like you said, just had to kind of compartmentalize it to keep it off to the box because it wasn't what's moving you right now.
Well, it's causing more anxiety than anything else.
Well, that's why I wanted
for the longest time. I used to still probably do to some degree, but had like terrifying. Like I would get terrified to be on stage, especially if I was the feature. I'm very comfortable being a background singer in the choir, but like the soloist or the feature artist, like everything I know leaves my brain, and I'm just like a noob all over again. And it just didn't. I would be done with doing that, and I didn't feel like I gained anything from it, so I stopped. So
right. So that kind of adversity you didn't feel like you grew at all.
It wasn't helping me.
And I couldn't help. Like I felt helpless.
I know.
And helping you, like, because
the fear was too much. Like I wasn't even able to fall upon training or anything. My whole thought process was just get to the end.
Yeah.
So I wasn't serving the people who were supposed to be entertained. I felt like I was letting the band down because I didn't trust them. And I felt like I was letting myself down because I wasn't trusting myself. So that was just one big black hole that I needed to close for a while. So I closed it.
And now there's a little glimmer, a little crack of the door. Well, I'm glad. Thank you for telling that honesty perspective, because again, I'm always, even now, we've been doing this for so long, we've been podcasting for so long, and yet like I keep reminding myself that there's one person that needed to hear that because they're the exact same place that you are. And like, again, our transparency is, hey, we've been there, we aren't, no one's looking at us like we're perfect, which is silly, but there's still like this thing that maybe people are looking like, well, they haven't built a podcast, right? Or they haven't sung on 2 or 3 different shows at all, right? So they're still looking at this like the pinnacle, where we're like, we even talk about this all the time. Again, it's not humble brag. We just have a lot of really cool friends do a lot of really cool things. And we're like, wait a minute, we're 1 second, we're one step away from like this person and this star and this star and this star. And it's like,
but that's not,
but they're normal. They're just regular people. All the people, by the way, again, I can't go through everybody that's been on the podcast, but if you go through the 300 episodes, like most of the guests have either been.
Had Shiv on the other day, right?
Right.
And he just finished with Jill Scott.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the caliber of people we're hanging out with, and they love God. They don't sugarcoat anything about trying to be better people. And that's why I think they get the opportunities they get. And again, that's the kind of people that we're talking to. And even though, our downloads would never be like, oh, well, I'm going to be Joe Rogan. I don't care. Like, I need to care more. I don't
want to be like that.
And neither do I. And that's why, like I said, like it's just this weird thing where my brain says, I guess it's a comparison, and we just have to fight it over and over again, even though I know that there are very, very rare any episodes that will ever make it to 300. I still have to fight the comparison even now of, it should have done this or done that. But I want to
I'll
make
help you.
Thank you. Well, you're helping me right now by doing this with me and showing up for the 4th time in 300 episodes.
Listen,
So I have to wait another.
you don't ask me.
I'm asking you more often. See,
you don't ask me. I come when you ask.
I need to ask Janiyah. That's what I need to ask. Janiyah, tell Lia.
Stop it. Can you imagine me and Janiyah with a podcast?
Oh,
Lordy.
see. Oh no, it'd be silent. It'd just be
It'd
you.
be silent. We'd just be
you reading books. It'd be like the Quiet Podcast. Everybody open your books and start a page, and then like 30 minutes later, it'd be like, "Thank you for coming to."
That's book club. Introvert book club.
Introvert book. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like you have these great ideas that
It's
we
not
sometimes.
an idea. That was not an idea.
It's an idea.
That was
the
brain
Introvert
vomit.
Book Club is absolutely a podcast idea, 100%. So yes, looking for that from the from Lia Paul and Janiyah Harden soon. All right. Before we close out, I do want to once again say thank you to so many people who have made 300 episodes possible.
They're all saying it.
They're all over the place, so I can't name every single one of them, but I can name some of the people that are like in our 360 group right now, like Semini Hugie, who has been a right-hand person, also our VA way over in the Philippines,
And
Via, and her baby, her beautiful baby. These are people who have come alongside me and again been like, you know, what Lia is to me and everything else. Like she has done all these things and could do all these things, but like she's already doing a million things with her job.
Time.
So Simone and Via and there are a lot of other people who have, and Charmaine and God and Gigs 360 Gold, like they have been pumping me up and keeping me going. So I want to make sure I shout them out. Pamela as well in the 360 Mastermind, and others people that are joining. And again, this is one of the things, babe, that I'm realizing more and more that it's not about the size, like you said. It's about the depth of the relationships. That, you know, as I'm recording, we got, I don't know if I told you this.
I don't think you did.
That God and Gigs was one of the 30 communities chosen to be on the spotlight of Mighty Networks. Because Mighty Networks is the parent company.
You did show me that.
So like, right? I mean, and again, like it's crazy to say that. It's like I know it's not the biggest. There's no way it's the biggest. It's not the biggest. It's not probably one of the smallest communities.
Probably
in that thing, but they have noticed us sharing what we're sharing, trying to do it with excellence, getting into all the Canva and doing all the things, and trying to make it look good.
To like Canva.
And well, there you go. See,
I'm learning to.
So we'll do it. We'll do a closet Canva.
Nope.
LaShonda will love that.
I'm Adobe.
LaShonda will love that. Like we're trying to convert Lia to Canva. So this is where, like I said,
just raised their price in their subscription, so you're going to convert.
We're still affiliates. Wow.
Well, I mean,
sorry, Canva. Anyway, we love you.
Not Canva, Adobe.
Oh, Adobe raised their prices.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's why I'm looking at right now with my audition thing, and I'm like, why can't we afford this anymore? So all this to say, in our 300th episode, that
300.
We are honestly. Oh, and I wanted to say this last thing, which is again kind of a weird thing to say, but I want to say it in front of my wife so that she doesn't freak out, so she doesn't think I'm going to throw everything away and start a new life in some foreign country because God said I'm not doing that now. But I am going to say that
next week, though.
Not next week. No, let the Lord please don't. We're open to everything, and we would also appreciate it if you let us stay here. So
I can't even drive.
Right,
now,
exactly.
So I'm not going anywhere.
So I just been really struggling with the idea that what we just talked about. Like I haven't done any gigs, thank God, because we needed to be home. But I haven't done really any major gigs at all. And so I've always wondered, even with the name God and Gigs, is like, is that even, is that appropriate anymore? Like, because I feel like it's now what's beyond the gig for me. If we're going forward with this, I would say honestly, it's not that I want to change the brand name.
Because beyond the gig is kind of hits. I'm just saying. Yeah,
but you see, but what we just said is so much about not being just a musician and not being just a singer.
Okay.
So that's why I'm wondering. Like, I'm honestly saying, like, our platform is now not. It never really was just about church musicians. It started like that, but never really was.
It was that way for a little bit,
right? And so they always like niche down. But it's like no, like this is getting more. The niche is more niching up. So it's more about what we have learned, again, like what's beyond just going to church, doing gigs. Like That's what I'm saying. Like I am absolutely sure that whatever we're doing next for the next 300, however long this lasts, is like an evolution. You said, see, we're on the same page. It's an evolution of God and Gigs. I just don't, and I don't know, like you guys can actually help us out. If you're listening now and watching, you can put it in the comments. What would you like to see God and Gigs become in the next 300 episodes? What's the one thing you wish we would do more of? What's the thing that you're like, hey, God and Gigs means blank to me, so I want to make sure that you do X. Like, what's the one thing that you want to see more out of this platform? Because it, hopefully has resonated with you. Hopefully it's blessed you over the years. So now I want you to be a part of the voice of where it goes from here, because we do have so much happening in our lives. And honestly, we said this about a lot of our projects. Homeschooling, we said it every year. Are we going to keep doing this? We're only going to keep doing this if,
right.
So we reevaluate. And so we're never saying like we're going to just toss everything out away, but we are like honestly saying, like, okay, what is this thing next? Very honestly, economically, right? Can we sustain it economically? Is it making money? Is it doing these things? So these are the kind of things that we have to be honest about and true about before we say, oh, see you in the next 300 episodes. So I would just ask you to comment, to share your thoughts. You can do that. By the way, we are a value for value podcast. I don't say this a lot. I need to start saying it more often. Because we are a value for value podcast, you can use boostograms, if I can say it clearly.
Boostograms.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
On Podcasting 2.0 apps. It's been amazing being a part of that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's because it's so brand new that the people who invented podcasting are helping to reinvent it. And that's the line that I'm on. Like, I want to be a part of whatever the next wave is. And so this is a perfect example. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening on a Podcasting 2.0 app, give us a boost. Tell us the same thing. What do you think God and Gigs should be doing the next 300 episodes? What's the one thing that we provided for you that you don't want us to change? Or the one thing that you do want us to change and say, hey, what I really need is X. If it's been like what Lia was talking about, growing out of the fear of stepping out into a new opportunity and saying yes to things and evolving as a creative, even if you're a closet creative, or like me, where I've been.
What kind of creative are you?
Did I take?
You didn't take your own test?
That's a great. Well, I made the question, so it's really hard to take the test.
Very much easier to take the test.
Objectively,
if you read the answers and they apply to you,
yes,
click it.
But I also know where they're going to go before I even click it.
All of them?
Yes.
All the permutations?
Yes.
That's not how your brain works. That's how my brain works.
Okay, well, I learned it by watching you.
Okay, so after we finish this podcast, what you going to do? You're going to take a test.
I'm going to go to godandgigs.com/quiz and take my own quiz.
And I'm going to take it again because I feel like...
You failed? You feel like
I don't feel like I failed. I feel like I helped you fix things on it. So now let's see where it takes me.
I want to see where it takes you now. Yes,
but I am a closet creative.
Maybe you moved. Maybe you moved from closet to like confident.
No, not there
yet. You
haven't
haven't made the confident yet?
Only with the hosting.
Yes. I think
because I just get to shoot the breeze. It's like,
yes, you found a what you call a nice landing spot inside that.
It's kind of nice
where you're getting to learn. Yes. Okay. So this has been a perfect example of how you and I, even as married couples, we are figuring this out. Like, we're figuring this out.
We should always be figuring
as we go. And that's what I hope that if you've been watching this and listening, that you've also seen that it's not going to be perfect the first time. Like we said, a lot of mistakes, a lot of things we wish we would have done differently.
The second time.
Never perfect the second time, third time, fourth time, never gets perfect. But we are chasing progress, not perfection.
Very good.
So now we want to just see that this next, whatever amount of episodes, 300, whatever it is, that you're part of the conversation, that you have a place, a space, and a voice to share, because this is where we are learning to become the creatives that God created us to be. So 300 episode. Give a high five. Is that right?
So
that feels
nerdy.
That's reverse. That was reverse.
So bad.
Yeah, that was okay. All right.
There we go.
That still felt like kind of like a Spock thing, like a
Whatever.
live long and prosper. Wait. Okay. Awkward sign off. Check.
Typical Paul interaction.
Exactly.
Check.
All right. And with that, my wife is ready to go, so I will sign off again. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Until next time, continue to become the creative.
Episodes.
Okay, wow. She took my byline away. All right.
So sorry. Say your byline now.
I feel weird saying now. Okay. Until next time, continue to become the creative that you were created to be. God bless, and we'll see you next episode. My friend, thank you for watching this episode. If that blessed you, you got to make sure that you stay connected with this community and this channel so that you can get more where that came from. We're sharing great interviews, tactics, strategies, mindsets, lifestyle choices, everything is going to help you become a totally confident creative. And don't miss an episode of the God and Gig Show. If you are staying connected to our channel, you'll be able to find us anytime we release new episodes. And you can check out some of our archives of almost 200 episodes now that we've shared over the last few years. Make sure you check out one of the suggestions right now because it's probably perfect for you to continue to develop as a creative. And continue to stay connected with us because we're here to help you become the creative that God created you to be. We'll see you in the next episode.
Peace. And cut. Chop. And it's a wrap.